Somehow the spirit of Bootham prevailed. Bars continued as usual. Societies kept going, and walks on the moors and rural fun were added to the Bootham repertoire. The countryside at Ampleforth was ideal for cross-country runs. Hockey on roller skates was something of a novelty. Bootham, meanwhile, was prepared as a hospital in case of gas attacks. Since none materialised, the school returned in July 1940. Meanwhile, the Mount had evacuated to Cober Hill near Scarborough. One feels that the girls crossing this bridge were more law-abiding than boys would have been, but perhaps that was just for the benefit of the camera. The girls too had opportunities for all sorts of outdoor and countryside activities that they would never have been able to undertake back in York. As at Bootham, there was plenty of opportunity for art and other creative activities for which the surroundings at Cober Hill were ideal. The Mount staff certainly seemed to enjoy their new home on the East Coast. And for the girls, fresh air and sea breezes encouraged a healthy outdoor lifestyle. Science and natural history were also well established and formed a large part of the curriculum for the girls. And physical jerks also took place out of doors. After the war, there was a period of reconstruction and expansion. A big appeal was launched entitled Bootham Must Build. This culminated in the fine school hall, which was opened in 1966. In this brief shot of the opening ceremony, we see Albert Lindley, the head at the time, giving his address. Here in the 1970s, we see Bootham boys on an expedition at the seaside. This was to be their last decade as an all-boys school. The cameraman is certainly impressed by the cars now in the car park for Parents' Day. Before the official proceedings get underway, parents and boys meet outside the new hall. Tea is served outside on the games field, while some spectators for the afternoon matches take their ease. We see that a more casual style of dress is now the order of the day. But underneath such superficial aspects, the school continues much as before. For a short but notable period, it was the tradition at Old Scholars' Weekend for the pupils to play some prank. The school staff were in trepidation before the Saturday dawned as to what it might be. On this occasion, it falls to a hapless member of the maintenance staff to remove the evidence from the weather vane. Old Scholars' Weekends. They'll bring back memories for many. Bootham has always valued its links with old scholars and the wonderful support they give to the school and their interest in the life of the school. Some may recognise past members of staff. Meanwhile, here is Duncan Brereton leading a sailing party in the lakes, whilst others enjoy canoeing, rock climbing and water skiing. Although Bootham is a city school, there are green fields fairly close at hand. The abundance of wild flowers was no doubt a boon for the botanists and entomologists. For many, what they learnt in the laboratories and workshops led to a lifetime interest. Sometimes what began as a hobby became the basis of a career. An outstanding example being Wilfred Alexander, whose interest in bugs led to his producing a moth which rid Australia of its prickly pear pest. Early interest in ornithology continued, whatever the weather, throughout the 60s and 70s, with bird ringing still a serious task for the Natural History Society members. Field trips were always a feature. This one in 1967 was to the New Forest. And here is one to Grasmere in 1975, where studies were made of Helvellyn and the Easdale Valley. A Day in the Life of a Penhouse Boy, made in 1976, was in fact a takeoff of the earlier 1936 film Came the Dawn, and you will see that although it follows the same pattern, much has changed.